Exploration into Elizabethan
Pardon me,
theatre.
Christina. Big loud voice. Start again, please.
Exploration into Elizabethan theatre.
Shh.
Hamlet is William Shakespeare's most longest and performed play, and it's estimated that every minute of the day is being staged around the world. It was finished in 1601 and first published in 1603. It is a tragical play set in the Kingdom of Denmark in the late medieval period. It's a play about the revenge of Prince Hamlet on his uncle Claudius, who was an evil man who murdered his own brother, King Hamlet, and married his brother's wife, Gertrude, to seize the throne. Shakespeare lived in London, and at that time it was hard to get access to foreign countries, meaning England to Denmark. That means that he had to get inspiration for his play from other sources like people, places, books, and plays. At that time, books on melancholy were popular, so that means that he must have gotten inspiration from these books. Some examples include Timothy Wright's Treatise on Melancholy. The characteristics of the melancholy man resemble the characteristics of Hamlet's. They both struggle to come to terms with the task of revenge. Another example is Thomas Nash's Piers Cornelius, his supplication to the devil. The description of the drunkenness of the Danish court corresponds to the representation of Claudius's nightly drunken promiscuity. Although the play Hamlet was finished in 1601, the first production was in 1607 on the 5th of September off the coast of West Africa in Sierra Leone. This was performed by the crew of the Red Dragon, though there is some conflict whether this was a real production, as it's very unlikely that the crew of such a boat would be able to learn and perform such a complicated play. But the first written and confirmed production was off the coast of modern-day Indonesia or Southeast Asia in 1609. The first court performance was on Christmas 1619, and the first performance in front of lords and ladies was in 1637, January 24th, at Hampton Court Palace. Some famous productions of Hamlet in recent years was in 2004 by the RSC, the Royal Shakespeare Company. It was directed by Michael Boyd, and some characters that were played by actors was Hamlet, played by Toby Stephens, Ophelia, played by Meg Fraser, Horatio, played by Forbes Mason, Gertrude, played by Sean Thomas, and Claudius, played by Clive Wood. In this video, Hamlet, it's a practice of Hamlet performing his famous speech, "To be or not to be."
Jason, this is being videoed.
They keep on
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. 'Tis a knavish piece of work, but what of that? Your Majesties, and we that have free souls, it touches us not. Let the gold jade wince, our withers are unwrung. This is one Lucianus, nephew to the king.
You are as good as a chorus, my
I
lord.
could interpret between you and your love if I could see the puppets dallying.
You are keen, my lord, you are
It
keen.
would cost you a groaning to take off mine edge.
Still better and worse.
So you mistake your husband. Begin, murderer! A pox leave thy damnable faces, and begin! The croaking raven doth bellow for revenge. Thoughts black, hands apt, drugs fit, and time agreeing. Confederate season, else no creature seeing. Thy mixture rank of midnight weeds collected with Hecate's band, thrice blasted, thrice infected. Thy natural magic and dire property of wholesome life Usurp! Immediately! Poisons him in the garden for his estate. His name's Gonzago. The story is extant.
Although in the original speech, it's a very intimate one, and he's speaking alone. In this one, Michael Boyd tried experimenting with having him in court and in front of everybody. He made it much more dramatic, but in the final production, it was spoken alone. Pete Wood said that the 2004 Hamlet production, he said about it, you'd have to be muddy knuckled indeed not to be thrilled and moved by this great Dane and great production.
The important roles in Hamlet. There are many important roles in Hamlet, and these main ones are Hamlet, who is the main character, son of the late king and nephew of King Claudius. Claudius, who is the king of Denmark and Hamlet's uncle. Gertrude, who is the queen of Denmark and mother to Hamlet. Polonius, Lord Chamberlain, and gets killed by Hamlet. Ophelia, daughter to Polonius and Hamlet's girlfriend, but they broke up. Horatio, friend to Hamlet and recounts the story. Laertes, son to Polonius, kills Hamlet and gets killed by Hamlet. And the ghost of Hamlet is spotted.
Within the many centuries that Hamlet was staged, there are many famous actors, such as Henry Irving, David Tennant, and Toby Smith. We also have a few big names. Want all of them? Just the first one to me. About 30 seconds, please.
It's a role which becomes traumatic when Hamlet sees his father's ghost, who tells him how he was murdered. When Richard Eyre directed the play 9 years ago with Jonathan Pryce, his most celebrated innovation was in his interpretation of the ghost.
I wanted the Hamlet to be possessed by the spirit of his father. This was the only means I could think of at the time of making the manifestation of his father's spirit effective for a contemporary audience, highly skeptical about the existence of the spirit world.
Interesting.
And here are some really interesting information about Hamlet. Hamlet is one of Shakespeare's longest plays with 4,042 lines.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there because you're just reading it off the PowerPoint.
The movie line.
Is that the end slide?
Yeah, but I can read off the board. Not off the board.
Can you?
The movie Lion
Why
King
did you do that?
The movie Lion King is based off this play, Hamlet. More than 50 productions of this play was on film and television, and over 200 women have played this role of Hamlet. And the most recent one, a theatre company produced an all-female version of Hamlet.
All right, thank you.